Hello and welcome to How to Write a Short Film with me, Anthony Hett, the film coach. In today's video, I'm going to be discussing the different elements of a screenplay. When you write your script, you want it to look and read as professionally as possible. In order to do this, make sure that you're keeping to the industry standard format and that you're writing in 12-point courier. To help with this, you might want to use one of the many script writing softwares that are available. I'll be discussing these in more detail in a future video. So when you're writing your screenplay, they'll be made up of the following elements: a title page, a scene heading, the action, character, dialogue, parenthetical, and transitions. So let's start with the title page. Every script needs a title page. This should include the title of the film and your name, and these should be in the center of the script. Then down in the left hand corner, you want to place your contact details. So put your phone number and your email here so that the person reading your script can get back to you with their feedback and notes. That's as simple as it needs to be. You don't really want to add anything else to your title page unless you want to add the draft. So underneath the title for your film, you might want to place first draft, second draft, May 2020 draft, etc. This helps you to organize your scripts, as well as if you're sending a new draft to someone to read, if they've read a previous draft, then they know this is an update on the previous script that they've read. Bear in mind that sometimes certain competitions or schemes, they are judged blindly, so they might ask you for a script without a title page. So for your own convenience, when you're saving a draft into a PDF file, maybe save it twice, once with a title page and once without. However, make sure that you always send a script with a title page unless you're specifically asked not to. You don't want to put yourself in the position where you send your script to somebody and your script gets lost in a pile of script or in a bunch of emails, and your script doesn't have your name or the title of the film on it, and when they come to read it, the person's going to have a real difficult time of trying to connect that script to you, and you might not get their feedback. So make sure that you have a title page unless you're specifically asked to send your script without one. Next up, we have the scene heading. So the scene heading should tell the reader where and when the scene takes place. So it starts off with the abbreviation INT or EXT, and these stand for interior and exterior, not internal and external, which I remember saying when I was at uni. My lecturer asked me what they stood for. It's not inside and outside of the body, but it's interior and exterior as in inside and outside. Next, it should be a bit more specific about where the scene is, so it could be flat or hospital, school, beach, wherever that scene is taking place. And within that you can again be a little bit more specific, so it could be flat and then inside brackets it could have kitchen, the next scene could be flat and then inside brackets bedroom, etc. So you've got INT or EXT, full stop, then you've got where, so flat, and then you've got hyphen, and then you've got the time. So normally this is kept quite simple, so it could be morning, daytime, evening, night, but you can also be more specific if that's needed for the story and for the script. So it could be dawn or noon, or it could be 7 a.m. This would be needed, for example, say we saw a murder in the script, and we know that the time of the murder is 1 a.m. and then the body is found at 8 a.m. Then reading the script, we know how long it's been from the murder until the body is found. But otherwise, normally morning, day, evening, night suffice, and you don't need anything more than that. So an example of a scene heading could be EXT, full stop, garden, hyphen, night. So we know that it's outside in the garden at night, and that's all the information that we need from the scene heading. The main information from the scene is going to be in the action. So the action will describe the setting and the characters that are in the scene, as well as the movement, the action of what's happening in the scene, and also potentially the emotion that's attached to the scene. I'm not going to describe or go into it in more detail than that at the moment, because I'm going to be discussing writing action for my next video. So let's move on to the next element. The next element is character. So you're going to have the character's name, it's going to be in all capital letters, and it's going to be in the center of the page with their dialogue underneath. So the character is simply the name of the character who is speaking. And the dialogue written underneath, simply put, are the words that are being spoken by that given character. Again, I'm going to be talking about dialogue a lot more in future videos, so I'm not going to be talking about dialogue anymore right now. Now, sometimes in between the character and the dialogue, we have something called the parenthetical. And this is a description of how the line is being delivered. So in brackets, in between the character and the dialogue, you sometimes have a word or a few words describing, explaining to the actor or the director how that line of dialogue is going to be delivered. So for example, you could have the word nervously. So the line of dialogue could be, "No, I don't want to do that." But they're not being bold and forthcoming. They're quite nervous about it. So it could say nervously, or it could say looks down at their feet, because it can also be an action or an emotion that's attached to that piece of dialogue. Now these can be really helpful, but you want to make sure that you're not overusing the parenthetical. Use it sparingly. And the reason I say this is because hopefully most of the lines of dialogue, it will be obvious how they're delivered from the context and from the description within the action. We know that the person is angry or they're nervous from the action or from the way they've behaved previously in the script. So it's not necessarily needed at this point. Also, we want to give freedom to the actors and to the director to put themselves into the script, to deliver the dialogue in the way that they're happy with. So use the parenthetical, but don't overuse it. Give the actors and the director a bit of freedom, and hopefully the way that the line is delivered should be inferred through the context of the script. The last one is transition. So the transition describes how the film moves from one scene or one camera angle to another. Now, this is not something that I use a lot in my script, and the reason for that is that I try to make sure that the actors are at the center of my films, that their performance is what is driving the film. And so in order to do that, what I do is I pare back the other elements. So the music and the sound, the cinematography, the editing, I pare it back just to really focus on the performance and on the dialogue. But the transitions can be really important, and this depends on the style of your film, and also it can have an effect or be affected by the genre of the film. So for example, if you're writing a horror film or a comedy, then the transitions might be different in order to correspond with that genre. So there's lots of different types of transition. You can have a fade in, a fade out, you can have a jump cut or a match cut. There's lots of different ones. So it might be a good idea to research all the different cuts and to decide if you want to put them into your script. And like I said, the reason you might want to do this is because it might be a stylistic choice. You might be trying to tell the editor, this is how I want the film to look, and we're going to use this type of cut. Also, with genre, then there might be certain cuts that are associated with that given genre. So those are the elements of a script. Hopefully that's helped a little bit and you've understood how to put a script together a little bit better than you did before. If you found this video helpful, then please give it a like, leave a comment below and share it with other people who you think might also benefit from watching it. If If you haven't subscribed, then please do subscribe to the channel and you'll get notifications for my upcoming videos. And I will be back next Wednesday at 9 AM Greenwich Mean Time with a new video on the topic of writing action.